Thank you, everybody, for joining. I know this is a hot topic for all of you on education as well as educational compliance within the partner program. With the push for the new Ruckus Ready Partner program, we know all of you have been informed of certain education that you need to take in order to stay compliant within your partner level. And with that, I wanted to go through, because we get a lot of questions regarding, what type of training do I need to take? Where do I get it? How do I know when I'm compliant? How do I get my certificate for training? So these are some of the topics that I'd like to cover today. And what I would really like is, a lot of you have questions still, so please, to reiterate what Alex had talked about, is in the Q&A section, as I go through this, if you have questions, please feel free to put your questions in there to make sure that I get them answered for you. With that, I want to start on the partner requirements. And when you go to get to the partner requirements, there are a couple ways you can do this. One of which is going to the partner portal. The partner portal really, it should be your hub for all information for the partner program. When you get into the partner portal, you will see there'll be a string of tiles, and I will have another slide that will show that. There are a string of tiles, one of which says Getting Started. That Getting Started tile, when you click on it, it will open a page, and at the very top of that page, it will have a checklist of things that you need to do by partner level. As you scroll down that page, you will see this table here. This table does map out the list of educational requirements from wired and wireless, and this is what that table looks like. I'm actually going to go to the next slide, because this one I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. As I mentioned, we are going to have that Getting Started tile that has all of this information for you. Through conversation with the partners, I've gone to partner events, I've talked to a lot of you through questions that we've gotten in our inbox, and from a redesigning perspective of the partner portal, we are taking a look at that, because there are ways that we could be more effective and make the site more user-friendly for you and intuitive. There is a tile that is called Education on the partner portal as well. Today, it takes you directly to the training portal that has the training. Tomorrow, TBD time and when we're going to get that evolved, is we're going to update that tile. So when you actually click on the Education tile, it's going to take you to that table rather than the Getting Started page. So when you think of education, you'll click on that. It's going to have everything you need there. It's going to have this updated table here. And again, I'm going to walk through this. This is going to talk to the wired and wireless. And how our training is designed is, if you start on the far left-hand side, you will see it's your partner level. And as you work your way to the right, we have the wired and wireless training requirements. Many questions we get is, do I really have to take wired and wireless? We really do want all of our partners to know the entire solution. Whether you sell our wired products or whether you sell our wireless, we want you to understand the solution. So having the education for both is critical. And we do require that you have your staff trained on both wired and wireless. In this document that all of you will get, you're going to get this presentation. The links that you see there for the training are live, so it will take you directly to the training portal. In here, again, there's 3 types of audience content that we have. We have our technical training, we have our pre-sales technical, and sales. The difference is, sales is very high level, it's portfolio overview, so it's not product specific. And then we'll get a little bit deeper dive, a little technical in nature, and we go to the pre-sales. Pre-sales training is just it's not your designer implementer type of training, but it is a little bit deeper. And again, it is also portfolio based. So this is talking to the entire wired or wireless portfolio. When you get into technical, it gets a little bit more specific, and those are the black boxes that you see there. Those, as you can see, for the wired, we do have the ICX implementer, and that is our requirement for our program today. If you are on the wireless side of the house, we did add in a new flavor of adding a industry certification, which is the CWNA. And this one is not a Ruckus specific course. This really talks to the industry protocols for wireless. So this is a really important one. And it's also a desired cert that somebody would want to have this CWNA. One individual can take multiple courses and satisfy that requirement. I'm going to break down a lot of the technical courses, the sales and pre-sales, again, our portfolio, and then we'll get more specific to product training. Let me go to the next. Now, with all the training that I just showed you, how do you get to it? So there are multiple ways in which you could actually access this training on our training portal. You could do it two mechanisms, one going directly to the training portal or one going through the partner portal. I don't know how many more times I could say portal in one sentence, but we have lots of portals, but there are many ways you can get to them. Again, one of the important things too to make sure that your tracking is properly identified in our Salesforce.com systems to track your compliance is you cannot use your personal email. Please utilize your work email address. This way it will sync properly to account for your records. If you have access to and you have your Ruckus credentials, but you have a colleague that also needs to get their credentials, I do have links in this document that you will get that you could then go in and have additional members on your team get their credentials. On the partner portal, as I mentioned, the direct link to the training site is that education tile. One of the things that we did once you click on that education tile and access the training portal, the screen on the left is what you're going to see. And there's a lot of information there, and that's why what we wanted to do is really simplify and get you an easy snapshot view of the partner training requirements. So on the left screenshot, you will see I highlighted where it says partner training and exams. That is your Bible. That is where you will want to click on if you're coming in and seeing the site. You click on partner training and exams, and the screenshot on the right-hand side, that houses all of the required training that I just showed you in that table. It has everything there. It has whether it is, you could access the course as well as the exam. Now, from an exam standpoint, I do want to give you a definition clarification. Accreditation versus certification. An accreditation is a non-proctored exam. It's essentially an online exam. We don't make sure that it's you taking it. We don't have a camera witnessing that you don't have any open materials. It's really an honor system that you go on there, you take the exam, it's self-paced, you go at your leisure to take that for the sales and pre-sales. The technical accreditations are timed, and I will get into that. I will break down each of our technical requirements. Certification, and we have one, if you noticed on our table, and that was the CWNA, and I will talk to that as well. But a certification is a proctored exam. That means that you are validated that it's you taking the exam. For example, the Pearson views that are your locations that you would be able to go take this. And in fact, I'll talk again, as I mentioned, on the CWNA, that we will talk to that. That'll walk you through on taking that certification. So again, the difference between an accreditation and a certification: accreditation is non-proctored and a certification is a proctored exam. I will, and I do have a flag here, I highly recommend you bookmark this page. This page is, again, a good page for you to see exactly and not have to question what you need to take. Now let's get into the technical courseware itself. This is where it's a little more steps involved than the sales and pre-sales. The sales and pre-sales training is kind of a one-stop shop. You click and you take the course, and then you take the exam at the end. But getting into the technical, the screenshot that I just showed you, the one that I recommended you bookmark, when you get there, this is highlighting all of the technical courseware. It will say you could register for the course as well as take the exam. And we do want to make sure that you see, again, it's all on that one page that you need to go to take it. For our technical exams, whether it's a technical accreditation or a technical certification for the CWNA, you get unlimited attempts to take it. However, if you don't pass it the first time, you do have to wait 2 weeks to take it again. We don't want you to just take it back to back to back to back. So we do want you to have that spacing of time, and I will get in a little more detail on what else. I have a screenshot to show you what that looks like. Let's talk to the ICX 250. So the ICX 250 is our wired technical requirement. For those of you that are classic brocade, you may remember we had the BPIPA. That certification, if you hold a valid certification, and valid means all of our technical requirements are valid for 3 years. If you have a valid BPIPA, that does satisfy this ICX 250 implementer requirement. So this will satisfy your program requirement in there. If you don't, and you need to take this course, when you click on this course, you will see there are 2 areas that you have here. You have your course, and then you have your exam. For the course, you will see that there are 12 modules. It is a little bit lengthy, but again, this is a technical aspect that we need you to be competent in our product. And there are 12 modules that you will need to complete. And then at the end, after you go through all of the modules, you could then take the exam. And the exam, as I mentioned, for the technical ones are timed exams. And it consists of 61 questions, and you have a passing minimum of 68%. And as you note here, this says it's an accreditation. The accreditation means it's an online exam, non-proctored. So again, you could start the exam at your leisure at any time, at home, it doesn't matter. As long as you're into the site, you could actually take that course. The WISE 2017, this is our wireless technical requirement. This one is a little bit more complicated in the sense that it's actually 2 courses that make up this WISE 2017. You have your Cloud Path and your Smart Zone. The Cloud Path course consists of 15 modules, and the Smart Zone consists of 17 modules. So there are really 4 major areas when you're taking the WISE 2017. When you click on WISE 2017, you'll see it lists all of these 4 areas, both of the courses as well as both of the exams, the accreditation exams that you will need to take for each of them. There are about 40 questions, and again, it's a timed exam. You have 45 minutes, and you need to get 85% in order to pass it. The important thing to note here, and this is where I apologize, it is a little bit confusing. We're going to work on evolving this down the road into where it's really one exam rather than multiple exams, but you do need to pass each of the exams, and each exam, the Smart Zone and the Cloud Path, have their own certificate. There actually is no certificate that says you completed the WISE 2017. Those 2 individual certificates then check the box in our compliance for the program for WISE 2017. The WISE 2017 is more of an umbrella for those 4 components that I just mentioned. Sticking with the wireless side of the house, now let's talk to the industry technical certification, meaning a proctored exam. This is comprised of 13 chapters that we have. And I'm going to give you a little bit more information than you probably want, but I'm going to give you some background here. Originally, the CWNA was hosted and still currently is hosted by a company called CWNP. It is an outside organization that hosts this industry standard certification. Ruckus got approval to get the content from the course and recreate it to an online version for our partners. The reason for that is we really wanted to ensure and simplify for all of you to come and take all of our training online. All of our online training, all of your required training is free for partners. So that was the CWNA was really rounding that all out to make sure we didn't have to send you off to another site to do that. So we brought it in-house. So we wanted to make sure you were able to go here and take the courseware. When it comes to the exam for the CWNA, this is where you're seeing all my screenshots for the company CWNP. We do not, Ruckus does not host the exam on our website. Being a certification, it is a proctored exam. And this proctored exam is where you're going to have to go to the CWNP site, as you see here, and you will have to purchase an exam voucher. This exam voucher is $200, but you can see you do have other options. Some people want to get a user guide. You could buy, there's so many different flavors that you could use if you want beyond just the exam. So I didn't put all of the details in here, but you will need to purchase an exam. It is $200, and you can utilize MDF to offset the exam fee. So there's no out-of-pocket. Because we are still trying to integrate and get our systems up to speed, when you have a completed CWNA exam and you've passed it, you'll see step 4 on my slide. I would, in order for us to track it in your compliance in Salesforce.com, we do need you to email me your certificate, and it'll have your first name, last name, and your company name, and then we'll be able to manually tick the box in your compliance for the partner program. Now let's talk to, you've taken your training. You know, I've completed some of my courses. How do I see how I did, and how do I print a certificate and prove to my management that I've completed things? When you get into the partner portal, on the top left-hand side of the page, you will see record of learning. That is where you'll always go as an individual to see what you have completed. It'll have a list of all of your training that you have taken or you've registered for. It is a small screen capture, I apologize. The one on the bottom, you'll see sort of a bar. It's a progress bar. And it'll be green when you have completed a course. What you'll want to do is click on the course that you've completed, and then when you get to that, it'll open up and you could see more details on there. There are a couple things that I want to get to, situations that we've had where somebody did not get to a point where they could print a certificate. There are 2 situations that are very common. One, somebody actually didn't finish taking the course in order to get them competency enough to take the exam. If they didn't go through and pass the exam, you're not going to be able to print a certificate. And you will see a checkbox next to the accreditation when you have completed the exam. So once you complete that exam, it will then tick the box. Until then, you will see that not available to print a certificate until you pass that exam. The other situation is if you've attempted the exam and you did not pass it. If you did not pass it, you will see a message in there on when you can retake the exam. And unfortunately, I cannot accelerate that. If you email me and say, oh, I took it yesterday, can you sign me up to take it tomorrow? We really need to stay within the regulations of those 2 weeks. And again, it will tell you in the text when you can take it next. And you do have unlimited amount of attempts for the technical. When you have successfully passed, as you can see on the screen capture on the left-hand side, there is a tick box next to the accreditation. You've passed the exam, and from there you could click on the accreditation. It will open up what your score was, if you passed the course, and then you will see a box that says get your certificate. From there you will be able to print your certificate. If you had taken a course in the past and it was not available, we did have a month period where we were having challenges with the certificates appearing and printable for all of you. So if you had taken a course in the past and you did not receive one, you could still go back to your record of learning, click on the course that we have, and get your certificate. These certificates are available for all of the required partner training for our program. To see your grade, you can look at the grade that you achieved by, on the left-hand side of your screen, you will see a details box where it says administration. You can click on grades. Your course and your exam, there are different weights to them, but this essentially will kind of walk you through on what you had scored on your exam if you ever want to see what you had achieved on multiple exams. It'll have them all listed. So you do have the capability of seeing what you had achieved. Here's the big one. This one I know is always a question that many of you ask is, well, I took my training. How do I know how it's going towards my partner compliance in the program itself? And this goes back to that original table that I showed you that has by partner level, how many individuals do we need to have to take the wired and the wireless, technical, pre-sales, and sales. With that, each of you can go in and see the high level of where your organization is from a compliance standpoint. On the partner portal, if you click on one of the, as you noticed, there were many tiles. If you click on the Partner Central tile, it will then open up, and you could click on, they're teeny tiny, sorry, this looks like a very small font here. You'll click on the home page and then click on My Company Profile link. That will then go to where you could click on the button that says View Compliance. That compliance button then illustrates the table that you see on the left. One of the tables will show you what the program requirements are. It'll tell you the table that I showed you at the beginning. By partner level, how many people need to take what. And then the top table will show you where is your organization in meeting that criteria. So you can see where your organization is at that standpoint. If you want to see how all of the individuals that have taken it in your organization, you will need to contact your account manager, and they are able to look at an entire list of everyone in your organization that has taken training, and it has historic data as well. Again, keep in mind, technical training is valid for 3 years, and sales and pre-sales is valid for 1 year unless otherwise specified. So right now, this is the main view for you to understand from the very beginning of taking your training, which all of you are trying to pursue and take your training, all the way through accessing it on the training portal, printing your certificates, and then how that feeds into Salesforce.com and reflects your educational compliance requirement for the program. With that in a nutshell kind of walks through how you access your training. I'm going to take a pause and open it up to Alex. And
hey, Jennifer, thank you. Yeah, we are receiving a few questions here. So yeah, thank you very much for all that information, Jennifer. Just to remind everyone, if you have questions, please submit them through the Q&A. That way we can get all your questions in one area. There's one question that was asked and responded. I just wanted to share with everyone so they can see that information or be familiarized with the information. The question was, does any previous Ruckus training count towards the new requirements, such as the old REX sales certification? And the response for that was a classic Ruckus training, like the old WISE and REX courses are not transferable.
That is correct. That is a correct statement. And the reason for that, let me get into a little bit of detail. The reason for that, a lot of the classic Ruckus training was older content. And we did have our wireless team go through a lot of effort to update the information out there and streamline things to be cleaner and crisper and relevant and up-to-date content in the structure that we had. So we really took a lot of effort with our wireless team to update that information.
Great, thank you. So another question here was, does it show which sales course and pre-sales technical courses qualify for the sales accreditation? I have taken multiple courses over the time since the merger. I'm just curious about it.
Let me go back here. Hold on. Oh, that's where I want to be. All right. So and this is where I think this type of session is really important, because there are times, and it may be the individual that asked that question, when you went to the training portal, you may have gone to catalog, or you may have just searched some training and typed in sales and took whatever you saw there. And if I see the question right, the sales and pre-sales training, pre-sales was brand new and sales was brand new. We really integrated and updated all of those in their portfolio. So they are called wireless portfolio sales, wireless pre-sales training, wired portfolio sales, and wired SE pre-sales training. So those are the official names. And again, when it gets to, let me go here, this page right here on the right-hand side, that again is your Bible. If you ever have questions, the training that you're taking, is that the required training for the program? That page is the required training for the program. I hope, does that answer your question? Please let me know. I could definitely elaborate if that did not answer it.
Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that if we have additional follow-up on that. So here's a next question. If a partner has a valid BPIPA, is there a way to generate him a certificate, or he would need to accomplish the ICX implementer to get a certificate for that accreditation? Sometimes they need to present certificates for RFPs and et cetera.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Yeah, no, I know exactly what his question is. Oh, Bernice. Okay, I know who that is. TC, I have you on the line. Is there? Do we have the old template that we could? I mean, if we could validate the individual took it because we have the historic data. Do we have an old template that we could generate this if they needed it? I don't know.
We could probably do
Mock
something, yes.
up?
Yeah. It's more we can validate, because there's actually IDs and stuff associated with their certifications in the past.
All right. If you have a situation like that, please email me directly at jennifer.judy@aris.com, and I will work with you on that. If that, I mean, we don't want to generate it for everybody. If there's a specific situation, we could work with you on that.
Okay. Great. Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, that was actually a question also. Somebody was confirming your email, so that's great. So we satisfied that question. Also, we have a feedback on the previous question that you just answered. I got confirmation that, yeah, this did, in fact, answer the question, what you supplied for us, so that's good. Let's see. Next question is the discount on the demo hardware the same worldwide, or are there per country differences?
Oh, we're getting into program stuff now. Well, the demo kit, no, it's the standard global.
Okay.
And there is a flyer on the partner portal. If you wanted to go to the partner portal, it's partner program overview tile. If you click on that tile, you will see all of our program flyers. There's also training flyers there. I'll throw in the training aspect, but there is a demo flyer.
Great. Okay, here's the next question here. My company is listed as an elite partner with many years of Ruckus experience. Is there a timeline of when courses or certifications and trainings are met to keep the listed status?
Great question, Joe. When we launched the new Ruckus Ready program, we launched it November of 2017. And with that, existing partners, whether they were Brocade or Ruckus, we were allowing 1 year to get compliant. We wanted to really give you that time period. So in essence, it would be November, but likely December 1st, we would probably start. That would really when the enforcement would be to re-level. If you are not compliant in the program, but from an education, we really need you to get compliant by December 1st. And that's the target that we would have before you would be down-leveled. But again, we will be working with you. We're going to probably send notifications and work with your account managers to make sure that they're working diligently with you to pursue education compliance. So December 1st, you have 1 year. If you are a net new partner that started after November of 2017, we were giving you 120 days.
Okay. So on that same line, there's another common question here is how often do I need to take it, or how often do I need to retake the training?
Great. So there's different timings. For technical training, it is valid for 3 years from the time you pass, let's say hypothetically, you pass an ICX implementer exam today, May 30th, 2018. You have 3 years from today that it is valid and before you need to re-accredit for that particular accreditation. For sales and pre-sales, it is 1 year. All of that, the sales and pre-sales today, we just created, I'd say it went live probably early, it was late November, December, late last year. I will be working on updating the existing pre-sales and sales, wired and wireless training, both of those 4 courses. I'm going to be looking to update those at the end of this year. And you will all be notified when we have updated content. We'd give you probably 90 days to reaccredit on those that you would have.
Okay, great. So I just want to remind everyone, again, if you have additional questions, please submit them through the Q&A, and we'll cover it here. There's another question here that has come up. How do I get a certificate of completion with training? I wonder if you can cover that a little bit more.
Go in there. Hold on. I'm going to show you. All right. You're going to go to the training portal, and you will click on the top left of that training portal. You'll see Record of Learning. In that Record of Learning, you will then click on that. It will list all of the training that you have taken. And from there, you will, hold on, let me advance my slides. From there, you will have the exam, click on it, and you will see Get Your Certificate. And then you click on that, it will generate your certificate, and you will be able to print it.
And okay, and it looks like this is going to be our last question here for the live session. So just want to go over this last question here regarding SFTC. What is my compliance based off of in SFTC?
So, and I'm going to try and interpret that question. Individuals don't have compliance. It's your partner organization is compliant or not compliant. An individual holds an accreditation or certification. And those individuals that hold accreditation and certifications, when they hit the appropriate tick boxes of the required training, when all of those requirements are met, it is then stating that organization is compliant. So an individual never really goes out of compliance, and that's where I'm hoping I'm answering your question correctly. The only thing I would say is, for example, when you have a technical accreditation or a CWNA that is a technical certification, and those are valid for 3 years, we are looking at notifying you 90, 60, 30 days in advance before that an accreditation or certification expires, so that way you personally can maintain that accreditation or certification. Did that answer your question?
And if there's a further question, just know that if there's any additional compliance questions, you can also always reach out to your account manager or the channel team too as well. Yes,
always that. Yes. And then again, I put in my email address just to make sure everybody gets it. And if you have any questions, you could always personally reach out to me.
Great. Okay, so that looks like to be the last, well, hold on a second here. Yeah, so that was the last question. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and end the live portion of this webinar. We'll remain online though, so if there's any other questions, please panelists stay online. We'll address any additional questions that come after we finish here the live portion of this webinar. So I want to thank everyone. Jennifer, thank you very much for this information, and hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Thank you.